Hello everyone, welcome to Abdo channel. In today's video, we will get to know the details about arrays in Python programming language. Till now, we have seen couple of collection entities, right? In all our previous videos, we have seen the collection entities like list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Then, what is this array that is coming up now? What is the purpose of array? Okay, that all those details we will get to know in this video. So arrays are also used to store the group of values under one name, like list, tuple, set, and dictionary, right? In all those collection entities, we used to store them, the group of values into them. Similarly, array is also used to store the group of values under one common name. But there is one subtle difference between array and other entity like list. Okay, what is that subtle difference? List can accept data of any type. I mean, the list elements can be of any data type. List elements can be of heterogeneous data types. But the elements of an array should be of same data type. They should be of homogeneous data type. Okay, that is the main difference. There are some other differences as well, which we will see uh, at the end of this video. Okay, but for now, let us see. I mean, that's what we have seen. We have discussed, right? Lists are used to store the elements of different data type, but arrays are used to store the elements of same data type. Suppose if you declare an array to accept int data type values, then it accepts only the int. If you declare an array to accept only the string type values, then it accepts only the string. If you try to store any other value, then it throws an exception. Okay, that is the way. Let's see how to create an array now. Okay, what all operations you can do on a list, like adding, removing, updating the elements on a list, right? All those operations you can do very well with array as well. Okay, let's see how to create an array. Okay, say for example, if I want to create a list, I create a list like this, right? 10, 20, 30, and if I print the list, this will be printed by using the list constructor. It is print, and I'm printing the list. Okay, here I am not importing any other module to use the list constructor or to store the group of values in a list. But if I want to store a group of values in an array like this, right? Array is there, but you have to explicitly import a module. Okay, if you see that the module is from array import array. Okay, you can in the other words you can write like this: import array as with an alias like this. Okay, array dot array. Array is a function that is available in the array class, array module. Okay, so this is my array. This is the way we need to create an array. Let us see it now. See, this takes at least one argument. You have to give at least one argument while creating an array. Okay, that argument is the type of an array. Okay, what kind of data type of elements you want to store. Okay, in the array, that type you have to mention. That is one argument. The other argument is the data. What are the list of values you want to store in that array? That also you have to pass. There are two arguments which you need, but if you pass one argument, the array will be created with the empty values. But what is that argument? That argument is the type code. Okay, the type of values you want to store in the array. So there are a list of type codes available. See, these are the type codes available. Okay, if you want to store int of minimum 1 byte, I mean short ints, you have to give the type code as b. If you want to store the signed integers, you have to give the small I. If you want to store the long integers, then you have to give the small l, capital L for unsigned long, float for f for float, d for double, 8 bytes, 4 bytes. So these are the different type codes which Python interpreter will understand to create that type of array. Okay, so if I want to create an integer array with 2 bytes, then I have to mention the type code as I. If I have to create a character array, then I have to mention the type code as you on it. Character, as it is accepting Unicode characters, right? Unicode characters needs 2 bytes of memory. That's why it allocates the 2 bytes of memory for Unicode characters, and we have to specify the code as you. And if you want to store some unsigned numbers, right, like short and some int, you have to give the capital letters. For signed short, it is H, small h, and for unsigned short, it is capital H. Similarly, for signed int, it is I, and for unsigned int, I, capital I. Okay, so let us give the small I. I want to create signed integers. Okay, uh, let us give the type code as small I. Let us see what will happen now. See this, there is no problem with the array creation. If I try to print this integer type array, let's see what it will print. See, it is just printing I'm an array of I'll accept that type of integers. So the second argument is like this, right? We have to pass the certain values, certain integer values to it. Okay, see this, it is an array accepting integer type, and these are the values in that array. This is how it is printing that array. Suppose if I try to store some floating point number into that array, which is declared to accept integers, right? So this is the error we are getting. Float object cannot be interpreted as integer. Okay, so it accepts only the type of values for which it is declared to accept. Okay, this is the way we create an array. And once we create an array, how to access the elements that are present in that array, that we will see it now. Okay, suppose in list also we have the subscript based accessing, right, or the index based accessing. See, these are the indexes starts from 0 to the length of array minus 1, or the length of list minus 1, right? So this is the 0 1 2. Okay, so let me try to access the index elements by using index print of my array of 1. So it is giving 20. If I try to give 0, it is giving 10. If I try to give 2, it is giving 30. So this is all giving us the results, and it is giving only one element at a time, because we are passing only one index, right? So this is how we can access one element at a time by using the index. But what if I want to get all elements at a time by using index itself? Okay, see, if you want to get all elements, right, then you have to use the for loop. Okay, so that is my array, and I am using for loop on my array. Okay, uh, yeah, let us take each element, or each element index. Yeah, let us take for element in array. Let us print this, what it prints now. See, module object is not iterable. Okay, here I have to pass my array, right? Yep. See, it is printing 10, 20, 30. So this is one way of accessing without using the index. It is directly giving us the uh, values, right? This is one way of accessing all elements with for loop, of accessing all elements of an array with for loop. There is another way, okay, by using range. Okay, that range should go till the length of array, right? Now let us see what it gives. It should be giving the index, right? 0 1 2. So if that index will be stored in the element, and then we have to give the, I mean, this is the naming convention which we follow generally, right? If you want to store an index, we generally use I for index, or iteration. and if you want to store the element, then we use e or element, right? So this is how we are getting the index, but we need the data that is present in that index. From where we have to get the data? We have to get the data from array, my array, and we have to get the index. We have to get the data based on the index from that my array, right? This is how my array of I. See, it is giving it, right? 10, 20, 30. So till here, here we are passing length of array, so that the for loop will be executed till the length of array. Suppose if I pass some 2, okay, see this, it is giving us only the 10, 20. Suppose if I pass 3, then it is giving me 10, 20, 30. Suppose if I add two more elements to it, right? So it is giving only 10, 20, 30. But I don't want to hardcode this value to which, I mean, to which index the for loop has to be executed. Then in that case, I have to pass that value dynamically till the length of my array. See, as many elements are there in that my array, it is printing those many elements. So this is the way we get an element by index, or directly getting an element by using for loop. Okay. There is another way which we can access the elements by using while loop as well. Okay, let us see that as well. While loop, for while loop, right, it is like a customized for loop where we have to mention where the loop should start, what is the condition, and what is the increment. All those things we have to mention while we are using the while loop, right? So I want the loop to be started at 0th index. Okay, I want the loop till continue till the end of array. Okay, what is the array? My array, right? I want to print the element by using that index, my array of I. And after printing, I want to increment, because if I don't increment its value, right, the loop will be infinite loop. Okay, the loop will, I mean, it will be printing always the value at the 0th index itself. So we have to move to the next location or the next index. So for that we have to increment it, so that the cursor will go to the next index and it will print the value at the next index till where it goes, till this condition gets satisfied, till I is less than length of array. Whenever it is not satisfied, it will come out of the while loop. Let us see this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is all printing it, right? This is one way of accessing uh, array elements at a time by using while loop, all elements. Okay, say for example, I have one array like this. Okay, but I want a copy of this array. Okay, new array. Okay, new array, if you want to copy this existing array, my array, to new array, right? You can use like this: array dot array of whatever values are there in my array, put them, all of them, into the new array. Okay, array dot, this is like a constructor, right? So put all of the elements that are present in the my array and create a new array. That's what we are telling it now. If I print this new array, let us see what it prints. Array, yeah, see, this array argument 1 must be Unicode character, not array dot. See, here, while we are creating an array, we have to specify what is the type of it, right? So we have to get the type. What is the type code of the my array? So for that, my array dot type code. So we have to mention the type code and the values, type code of my array and the values of my array. We are passing it to the array, and it is creating the new array. Now let us see what it prints. See, array of I, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. New array is created with the same values which we have in a array, my array. Okay, But if you want to see, here we are getting all values directly in the single line, right? But if you want to do some modification while copying the elements of one array to another array, if you want to do some modification or updation to each element, and the new array should be created based on the updated element, then you have to follow another approach. Okay, for that, let us take this approach. We have to iterate, right? So we have to use the for loop. For each element in my array, we have to iterate through for using for loop. And if you want to do any modification, that is, this is like our list comprehension, right? We have to use the expression here, we have to use the for loop here, and which we have to pass the iterable like list or array here. Okay, for each element it extracts, right? That will be stored here in this element. So let us see how it creates an array now. See, still it is creating an array, right? Yep. So my requirement is to create an array, new array, by multiplying all of the elements by 2 with 2. Okay, see this. So, each element will be extracted and it will be put in this element variable, and this expression will be evaluated. Element star 2, it will be multiplied by twice, and the new element will be added to the new array. Okay, this is another way of copying an array into another array. Okay, that's all about array copy. Let us go to the next topic. I mean, here we are all getting uh, the element at a particular index or all the values from the array, right? But I want the subset of these values. Say for example, I want only 20 30, I want only 20 30 40, I want only 30 40. Based on I want to slice this array and I want to create a new array with that sliced values. Okay, say for example, new array, right? New array I want to create like this. My array of, I want to give the starting index, I want to give the end index. It will be exclusive, right? So it will be creating a new array with the values that are at the index 0 1 and 2. Okay, 10 20 30. Let us print this now. See, it is creating, it is slicing the elements from the indexes 0 1 and 2, and it is creating a new array with those values, which are sliced from the my array. Okay, similarly, if you want your slicing should start at the 0th index but go till only the 3rd index, right? Like this, you can mention the start index as empty, and start slice index as empty, and the end slice index as the index which you want. Okay, so here, if I print this, till it is giving me 10, 20, 30. Say for example, I want to go till here. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40 it is giving, right? Suppose if you want the index, I mean, if you want the slicing should be started at 2nd index, but go on till the end of the array. Okay, like this, you can mention the end index should be empty and the start slice index should be the index from where you want to start. Here see 30 40 50, it is giving it, right? It is going till the end of the array. Okay, this is about array slicing. Okay, now let us see how to add elements to an array. Okay, while we do that, let us try to take the element from user input. Okay, see, while I have to take see, for example, I have to create an array like this. Okay, I have to create an empty array. Okay, so whatever the user enters value, that value I have to append, or I have to add them to my array. Okay, so in order to accept the value from user as an input, we have to use the input function. Okay, so while we are accessing the elements, but we have to create an array, or we have to know how many elements user wants to enter. That is basically the size of an array, right? So for those many elements, we can ask the user those many times, and user can enter the values for those many times, and those all those elements can be stored in the array. Okay, so let us get first of all on the element array size. Enter array size. Okay, it is like how many elements you want to store. But when you try to take the input from user, it will always be coming as string. But as we have to give it to the for loop, and you have to use it as a array size or length of an array, right? So you have to convert that into the int. Okay, that is size. Okay, now I have to iterate, or I have to go through this array till the size of the array. Okay, and I have to append whatever the element user is giving me. I have to append that to my array. Now let us go. Okay, for let us use the for loop now. Okay, till where I have to go? Till length of till the size variable value, right? So in range of size. Okay, I have to. So size will be for, say for example, user enters the size as 5, right? So each value will be coming into this index. Okay, 0 for each iteration, 0 will come, 1 will come, 2 3 4 5. Okay, like that it will come, right? So now when I get an index, I have to ask the user to enter the value for that index. Okay, again I have to use the input function, enter element for index. Okay, here I want to mention the index position for which user has to enter. Okay, so let us add the index position as well. We are getting the index position from this for loop, right? So enter element for index position at index. Okay, dot format of index, that we can use it, right? So that element again will be string. We have to convert that to the int, and value will be here. Once we get the value, we have to store that value into the array. We have to append it, right? So there is an append function available. This is used to add elements to an array. Okay, that's it. So we have to use that append function. We have to pass the value which we have extracted from the user, what user has entered. If I print this my array now, let us see. See, it is asking for array size, right? I want to enter 5 elements. Okay, enter the element for index 0, some 34, 13, 123. Okay, 30, 345, 10, 20. See, it is stopped at index 4, right? It is accepted 5 values and it stopped and it printed all those 5 values. So this is a way we can get the values from user input and append or add those elements to an array. Okay, that's all. But if you want to search for an index, right, or search for an element, say for example I want to search for an element that is 345. I want to get the position of it. Okay, uh, yeah, print my, there is a function available, my array dot index. Okay, index of, if I pass 345, what it gives we'll see. Okay, I'm giving 5, 10, 20, 345, 40 and 50. See this 345 at the index number 2, that's what it is printing, right? So this is a inbuilt function available to get the position of an element in array. Okay, index function. That is about getting an element position. Let's see, we have seen how to add the element to an array, right? Uh, how to update an element that is already there in the array. Okay, like this we can update. Okay, my array of second index is equal to 20, 200. Let me comment this for some time. Let me create an array here itself. Okay, now I want to update the value at index 2 with 200. Print my array. Let me print it before update as well. Let us see what it prints. Str object, yeah, we have declared it as to accept int, right? So we are passing here as string. Now let me modify it and see at the index whatever the value at the given index is updated. So this is how we can update a value at a given index. If you want, I mean, we can try to get the index from user as an input and also the new value as an input from user, and you can pass that index and the value to this line of code. That way you will be getting that values or the index or the value dynamically from the user. That also we can try. Okay. Now let me go to how to remove the elements. We have seen till now how to print the elements by using index, using for loop, using while loop, how to add elements, how to update elements, how to get the sub array or the slicing of an array. All those things we have seen till now, right? So now let me check. I mean, let me see how to remove an element from an array. Okay, there are a couple of functions available. Uh, yeah, see this one. If you want to remove an element at a position, suppose 4, okay, at fourth index it is going to remove the element. Okay, now let us see what it gives. 10, 20, 30, 40. It has removed 50, right? So if you want to remove an element at a particular index, you have to use the pop. Okay, other than pop, there is another method, remove. Okay, so remove we have to use to remove by value. Okay, say for example, I want to remove the element which is there 30. Okay, so I have to pass that value and it will remove it. Suppose if my list is having so many occurrences of 30 or the array is having so many occurrences of 30, what will happen? We'll see. See this 10, 20, 40, 50, 30. So it has removed only the first occurrence. So it is going to remove only the first occurrence of the given value from the array. Okay, that's all about removing an element from the array. Now let us go to another topic. We have seen all these type codes, right? Okay, see this is one of the topic which I want to cover. What are the differences between array and list? Okay, we know this, right? We have seen with an example. List accept any type of elements. I mean, you can store integer, you can store float, string into single list, into one list itself, right? But whereas it is coming to array, it accepts only the same type of or the homogeneous type of elements. If you declare an array as float, it accepts only the float elements. If you try to store the other data type element, it throws an error, which we have seen with an example. Okay, so there is what is the second difference? Okay, see this one stored in the random locations while it is coming to list, but stored in the contiguous memory location. See this with the here. This is an array. Okay, and this is a list. If you see the list, this is a list of 5 different values. They are not stored here in the same in the contiguous or the adjacent memory locations. So the memory allocation is very small chunks of memory will be allocated for list. That's why maybe one or two elements are only small size of elements, will be stored in a contiguous locations, but mostly they will not be in the contiguous locations or the adjacent locations. So they will be stored in the random locations like this. On those here you see the gaps, right? These are used for the some other program, but my list is using only these random locations. And these locations address will be stored here, and list items will be pointing to this collection, the address of these locations. Okay, well, whereas it comes to array, the elements will be stored in the memory in a contiguous or the adjacent memory locations. Array will be pointing directly to those locations. Okay, so, so that's what it is, stored in random locations, stored in contiguous memory locations. Okay, no need to import any module for creating a list, right? But for creating an array, we have to import the array module. Okay, more memory allocation, less memory allocation. We'll see this with an example. List will occupy more memory. Why list will occupy more memory? While array will be occupying less memory. We will see this with an example. Not good for arithmetic operations, good for arithmetic operations. We will see these two with an example. Okay, let us go back. See, let us see this first point, fourth point now. List occupies the more memory, less memory. Array occupies less memory, right? So let us create a list first. Okay, let me clear everything from here. Okay, let's create a list. See here, I want to create a list with 1,000 values. Okay, for each I am creating an empty list initially. I want to iterate a for loop. I want to run a for loop to add values to that list. Okay, for element in range of 0 to 1,000. Okay, in range of 0 to 1,000, it is going to get each element, and it puts, we have to put that element into list now. Okay, my list dot append, yeah, append of element. Similarly, let us create an array as well. My array. Okay, here we have to create an array with an example with array function, right? Yeah, array dot array of, it should accept I. Okay, that's fine. Let us see. Okay, element, we have to append this to my array. My array. Okay, now if I print, okay, let's see, let us run it. So there are no problems. So two arrays are created, but I want to see what is the size occupied by list and what is the size occupied by array. Okay, for that we have a function available that is in the sys module. Okay, sys dot get size of, yeah, get size of my list. Okay, now let me print the size of my array as well. Okay, I have to print it, right? See this, if you see here, this is the size of a 8856 is the size of list. 4200 is the size of array. You see here, this is almost double, more than double of the size of an array. This is because list, the memory allocation for list will be like this. Okay, suppose if you are storing 1,000 elements, right? Not only for 1,000 elements, it is going to create the memory or allocate the memory for one more 1,000 elements. Okay, so total 2,000 elements ka data will be stored here. Okay, but while coming to array, it stores, I mean, it allocates the memory only for the elements that are stored. That's why the memory allocation or the memory allocation for list is more than when compared to array. Also, list is going to maintain separate object for tracking all the random locations, right? That's what we have seen it here. All these random locations, it is going to store some all these memory location addresses, right? It is going to store some collection entity, some storage they are going to be stored, right? So for this one also, it has to the memory should be allocated. So that's why the memory allocation is more compared for list compared to array. Okay, that is about memory allocation difference. That's all for today, guys. In today's video, we have seen what is an array, how to create an array, what are the different operations like adding an element, updating elements, removing elements, looping through the array, what are the different kinds of looping techniques, while loop, for loop, how to access the elements, all those things we have seen. We also have seen the difference between list and array, how the memory is allocated for list and array in Python. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you again.